everybody. We are back today with Brandy of Brandy Astrology. We are going to be looking at the astrology surrounding the death of Princess Diana. Figured this is a good time to do it since King Charles, earlier was calling him Prince Charles, not Prince Charles anymore. But in honor of his coronation, we figured this might be an interesting forensic astrology chart to look at. And there are actually multiple charts that we will be looking at. The one starting from when she is seen on CCTV footage at like 4 something in the afternoon on August 30th through when she is pronounced dead at the hospital at like 4 a.m. on August 31st, 1997. So this would obviously, I mean, unless you live under a rock, you're gonna, I mean, really, and you know, and I mean, even people that weren't born at the time, weren't alive at the time, know at least a little bit about this. But she was in, she was coming back from, oh, and one other thing, I might pronounce people's names wrong. I apologize in advance if I do. Or words, it does. I don't speak French. So
neither do I. Like, we do the best we can.
Yeah, we are. Yes. So I do apologize in advance. I mean, no disrespect for mispronouncing anything, but she and her partner Dodi Fayed, they were on vacation, came to Paris. I believe it was just for the night to stay at the Ritz. They were going to leave out for London the next day, or she was going to leave out for London. I'm not sure if he was too, but she was. So they're there for just a short period of time. They're trying to leave the Ritz at 12 a.m., something like that. Paparazzi swarming, doing their fucking bullshit that they do. And so they get a decoy car. It's a Mercedes S280. It's armored, all this, supposedly really safe, right? And she gets in the car, her partner gets in the car. The driver is Henri Paul. I believe I'm pronouncing that right, but might not be. He was the driver and also head of security at the Ritz. And Trevor Rees-Jones was her bodyguard. I don't believe that was her bodyguard all of the time. I think it was just this particular night. So they all get into this Mercedes to get away from the paparazzi. They're going, original reports, I think, said they were like going 120 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. They weren't. I think it was actually more like 59, 60 miles an hour. So it wasn't like maybe faster than what they should have been doing, but not like crazy speeds.
No, I remember that media made it sound like they were just hauling ass, and yeah.
Yeah, they did at the time. They made it seem like they were, and come to find out that's really not the case. They were going like, it was some weird number. It was like 59 miles an hour, 61. I don't think it was straight 60, but it was some, something like that. So not super fast, around there. And they go into the, I've tried. Okay, I think it's,
you got it, Ellie.
I think
you got it.
Sorry. I think it's Pont de la Ma, the Pont de la Ma tunnel or underpass. And that is where this accident happens at 12:25 a.m. So they leave the hotel in this Mercedes at like 12:20, and this happens like 5 minutes later. It's like bam, bam, just fast.
Easy.
Yeah. Supposedly the Mercedes hit a white Fiat, then swerved, somehow swerved under the tunnel or underpass and collided with the 13th pillar that supported the roof. And Dodi Fayed and Henri Paul were dead at the scene. Princess Diana was supposedly, from what I understand, she was conscious, out of it, but conscious. And Trevor Rees-Jones was pretty badly, I mean, he seemed like he got really fucked up, but he was also conscious. and he's the only survivor from this. So
yeah, it was reported she had made like some moaning sounds, or there was some indication that she was alive.
Yes, she was alive. Also something about, and I'm not 100% about this, but something about somebody trying to give her an IV and she was trying to knock it away. I don't know about all that, but I did think that was interesting. That somebody I don't know how, I don't know how verifiable that is, but I have read that in a few different places. So I don't know what the fuck that's about. But anyway, should we start looking at the chart? I think that's a good kind of small introduction.
Got the backstory, and we can
we'll fill in some more. Okay, I hope this is the right fucking chart. Yes. Okay, so this is the CCTV footage for when they are seen entering the Ritz on August 30th, 1997. This is like, the other stuff, there is a timeline here, but this is the last time. This is when they were like seen on TV with the timestamp. So that's kind of why I wanted to start with this particular one.
This is a good full time.
Yeah.
When they're last seen alive.
What do you notice first?
The moon in the 8th house, like in the sign of Leo, in the royal sign. In the 8th house, yes. And the other luminary, the sun, is right there with a combust Mercury. Like, this brings in questions. Do you believe in fate? Do you believe things are aligned? Like, astrology is so crazy because, like, the last time they're seen alive on security footage, this chart, brings up a death marker and brings up issues with an automobile with that Mercury combust.
Yes, it does. It does. And that moon, we bring up the royal thing. It's also, that moon's also intercepted. It feels kind of,
something is not seen. Something's a little unknown. Something's in the 8th house of secrets.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's creepy. It's a creepy moon in this chart. Like knowing what happens and looking back. This is, This is. And look at Saturn in the 3rd house.
Yes.
If we want to look at, because we know the story and looking back, I look at the 3rd house for travel, local travel, like what they were doing. And we got, a Saturn in a fall in that 3rd house.
Yeah. Not super happy there.
Yeah, that's for sure.
We have
something else interesting. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Just, the chart ruler. So the victims here, Diana, Dodie, everybody, the driver and bodyguard. So we got 4 victims here in this accident. I'm going to say accident with quotes. Being ruled by Jupiter, which Jupiter rules, foreign lands or foreign countries, or in a foreign country. Well, that's not their home. And it's just kind of interesting. It makes sense that would be their ruler.
Yeah, it does. It really does. It definitely does.
Now, its placement in the 2nd house, that kind of is interesting. Because, usually we see 2nd house with like someone who's abducted or, being taken. That's not what happened here, but I wonder, are, in a sense, are they kind of trapped?
Yeah, I think that's possible.
I'm going kind of the conspiracy route here, but.
No, that's, well, and I'm also, no, I kind of, I agree. I was gonna see if there was any fixed stars. There is one close to the moon.
Okay.
Okay, and this would represent them. So I'm not gonna try to pronounce the name. I've tried to pronounce enough shit today. We have it's at 10 degrees Leo, 20 minutes. Penetrating an analytical mind, travel and many friends, craft, ingenuity, and valor, but danger of robbery and accidental poisoning. Now, I mean, it's not a poison. The accident thing is interesting.
You get second, I'm just, in general forensic astrology stuff, you get robbery with second house placements too.
Yes. Yeah, you do.
Interesting.
Well, could it be like, I wonder maybe if it's not a literal robbery and more like they were robbed kind of
I
thing.
I think that applies. Yeah.
Yeah. That seems like that could fit here.
We could also get the second house. Second house rules values.
Yeah.
And there was definitely, what's a good word I want for this? She was unconventional and she did break some boundaries and she broke tradition, and
she also, I believe, had an Aquarius moon.
She did. Yeah.
Yeah. She, from what it seems like, she pissed some people off by kind of deviating from what was protocol.
Yes.
Good for her for deviating. So
she got backlash for not putting up with the husband and that didn't really love her and didn't, go along with it and many other things. But yeah. Man, that Pluto in the 12th house.
Yeah, I see that and I'm like, and then you've got that the 11th house has Scorpio on the cusp.
Mm-hmm.
And there is like an influence thing here.
Yeah.
I think of the 11th. Well, I mean, the 11th house is a lot of things, but the influence, I don't know. Like this feels influenced.
Yeah. And interesting, this happens during a time that the North Node is in Virgo, which is dealing with perfection. And, definitely with Princess Diana's story, the royal family, and they still are, like, things have to look a certain way, there's certain standards. But yeah, it just kind of makes sense that this would all happen during a North Node in Virgo.
Yeah, it does. It does. Should we pull the next one?
Yeah.
Okay, I put it on there and then okay, hopefully I'll pull the right chart. Okay, so this is the time that it actually this is the time that the car crash happened, 12:25 a.m. Yeah.
Gemini ascendant, of course.
Yeah,
it's multiple,
so it's now
cars, it's travel, it's
there's something about this. Okay, the other one had the Sagittarius rising, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there is something about these being flipped here. I don't know. Like, do you know what I'm gonna say? Like the perpetrators, they knew them.
Trading places.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I see where you're going with that. Whoever's behind this, if it's not an accident, they would have had to have known who was behind it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. This chart makes so much sense, with the chart ruler and the victims. Mercury being in the 4th house of endings, being combusted by the sun. Saturn, interestingly, is in that 11th house, which we were just looking at, kind of the 11th house is the last one.
And it's intercepted, which feels like, again, that the influence is not, it feels like it's there, but it's just not out there.
Yeah.
Even if it is, it's not.
Yeah. What is weird about this chart is that Neptune in the 8th house.
Yes.
Like, and we were having a discussion about this earlier or a few days ago, but you see Neptune in the 8th house when there's a drowning death or a death by water or maybe drugs, maybe addiction. This is kind of weird in a car accident chart. And now, of course, there are, I don't even want to say theories. I think they tried to say the driver was inebriated, under the influence. That didn't quite make sense, though. And I believe that has been reinvestigated. Did you read about that?
I believe, yes. Yeah, they originally tried to say that his blood alcohol content was high. I do think that it did seem like this, I'm sorry, guys, this case is so big. Like, I do think that you're right, though. It has been pulled back.
Yeah.
That he was not as intoxicated as they made him seem like he was.
Yeah. And the car wasn't going as fast as they thought it was. Like, it's kind of one of the things. Yeah. And so Neptune being here, to me, like, creates muck.
Yes, it does.
Like, it creates just some static and trying to get from the signal.
Totally. And I know it spends a long time in each sign, but it's in Capricorn, right? Where that muck feels like it could get even hardened a little bit or harder, if that makes.
Yes. Yeah. Saturn hardens. Yeah, exactly. And gives it some kind of a fixed energy, like a story that sticks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, and then the other chart, I think we forgot to talk about the rulers, or I forgot to mention it. I probably did. The rulers, they are like quincunx.
Oh, okay.
Which it's loose. It was actually a little tighter, I think, in the other one. But it does stand out like not seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like not and by ruler, sorry, I didn't say that either. Jupiter and Mercury, those two.
Right. Yeah, they're at the in conjunction there. So yeah, they're not able to see each other, yet they're in a vicinity, right? Like a blind spot.
Yes, exactly. Like a blind spot.
Yeah.
And in this chart with that Sagittarius descendant and that Jupiter in the 9th, I mean, it does make me think that if there were perpetrators, there was like foreign involvement. Now, I suppose that would mean foreign from France, since this took place in France. So it would be,
I would think too. Yeah, because this happens in France. So whoever's involved would be from a different country, right?
Yes, exactly. That's kind of, Mm-hmm.
And you got two indications there. Jupiter describes that scenario, and the 9th house describes that. And you got Jupiter in the 9th house, kind of doubles down on it. Yeah.
It does.
Can we talk about Pluto again? This time it's in the 6th house. Pluto is like
Pluto's a busy boy or busy girl or busy whatever.
Busy watching.
Busy watching. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying not to go down too many like avenues here, but it also makes me okay. So you get Pluto in a 6th house when there's some kind of stalking, some kind of watching, but this is also in the 6th house of health. And we were kind of discussing that it took what, an hour?
Oh yeah.
Medical treatment.
Yeah, why don't we let me show that next chart real quick so we can get into that. Oh, one more thing though before we do that. Also that moon in the 3rd house in this chart.
Yeah.
When that thing when the crash happened, I think that's kind of also interesting.
Yeah.
But no, I'm gonna pull that other chart so that we can talk about that while we got that picture pulled up.
It makes me, yeah, while you're kind of the reason I went there, because you got Pluto in the 6th house in that chart, and it's in 6th house here still.
Yep.
Interesting. It makes me think, again, if I'm going down conspiracy way, is there a lack of medical intervention to cause death? Like, because Pluto is a deathy planet and it's in the house of health.
And it's guy with Scorpio is on the cusp even. I mean, it's kind of, there is this, this accident happens at 12:25. She is not taken to the hospital until 1:25. That's when they leave the tunnel or underpass. And they don't arrive until 2:06. Now, I don't know what it's like overseas. I mean, I know here if somebody gets into a really bad car accident, they fucking starflight their ass to a hospital. I don't know what it's like. I don't know what it was like in 1997 in Paris, but my guess is for somebody that's fucking royalty, they would at the very least drive them there quickly. And from what I understand, that did not happen here. And I think that's strange.
Yeah. I think that's strange, especially with the astrology and with Pluto in the 6th house. Like, I think that validates some kind of weirdness. Sorry, it's not as articulate as I can be, but there's something weird going on with it.
Yeah, most definitely, because that's yeah.
Yeah.
But
interesting. Are you able to flash to the other chart? Is that crazy?
That last one?
Yeah, I want to look at something when the accident actually happens.
Sure. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, I find it, and it's a little bit more, I don't think it's intercepted in the next chart, but the Venus in the 5th house in the sign of Libra intercepted here. And she's in this accident with her lover, with her boyfriend, with this relationship. And it's also in the 5th house where we find kind of the newness of romance and relationships and dating, and I find that very interesting in these charts. Is this some sort of motive behind this?
I think that's very possible. I think that's very, that's,
yeah. Now you go to the other chart, it's not intercepted at this point.
Let me see. Go back to it. Yes, it's not anymore.
Yeah,
it's just
more stronger here.
I wonder if that could, I wonder if that could point to like him already having passed at this point too.
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah.
Like, because he and the driver supposedly,
killed instantly or pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing, supposedly, they have said that none of them were wearing seatbelts. Now, from what people, and I mean, it's always possible that none of them were wearing seatbelts. It's also been said that that Jones was, or Reese Jones was the only one that was, but it's also been said that he wasn't. Now, people that know or that knew Diana claim that she was an avid seatbelt wearer and would not have not had her seatbelt on. Now, I know it's possible that even the best of us that do, you know, habitually wear, you know, wear our seatbelts, it's possible that you're getting in quickly, don't put it on. But I don't know. People that knew her seemed to think that was strange.
And doesn't she on a like natal chart, on her birth chart, doesn't she have a pretty intense 8th house? Didn't she have, like, I'm going from memory, like a Pluto and
yeah, I think yes. I do have those, but
it's okay. No, I'm just, there's a lot of charts, but that even like doubles down on someone who probably would be a very avid seatbelt wearer, because when you have like a heavy 8th house, mortality and death and like accidents, these sorts of things are on your mind quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. You are aware of how fragile.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that, I find that weird that she, you know, even in like, even more in this situation where paparazzi are around and stuff, it doesn't make sense that someone like her wouldn't wear the seatbelt this one time.
Yeah, it doesn't to me either. Also, you know, that speaking of like the paparazzi, after this accident happened, I guess a lot of there were paparazzi that went down there, I guess, to try and, you know, be fucking assholes taking their pictures and shit. I guess all the film was confiscated and shit was broken of theirs. I don't know. And I mean, there's a part of me that gets that, like not wanting stuff like that to get out.
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't know. Looking at these charts, there's a part of me that wonders, is there some other reason why they didn't want that? Do you know what I mean? Like, is there?
Yeah. To cover up anything that might be captured in a photo or.
Exactly.
Yeah. Either way. Yeah. Yeah. I still got Neptune in the 8th house in this chart. This just, you know, we do some forensic astrology of actual accidents, and we got some coming up soon, but you can usually see in a chart when something's accidental. And these charts just don't really look like accident charts.
No, they don't. And you know, you also have that, like in the other chart, you had Capricorn on the cusp of the 8th house, and I think the 9th house. This chart, you've got it on the 7th and the 8th. And then I don't know. And then you have that Saturn.
Capricorn is a controlled energy.
It is a controlled energy. It's also a government energy, a rulership energy. Yeah.
Yeah, you get Aquarius, that's could be more accidental. Any kind of Mars, Uranus, and Uranus is in the 8th house in this chart, but the actual accident chart, and it's not. It's like, okay, after the fact, accident markers show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I don't know, maybe that's staging or.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but you know, my opinion, Brandy's opinion here, this doesn't line up with something that's accidental, like just unfortunate accident. This looks, you know, you just have more controlled energy here that does not, and like the interceptions are interesting. And yeah, I'm not feeling like this is just a car accident.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think so either.
And I think it's okay to say that. I mean, these theories have been out there since it's happened. You know, there's been some weirdness.
Yes. Yeah. Well, then there's other weirdness, right? Like that note that we were talking about shortly before we went on. I believe it's pronounced Mishkan note. It was a letter written by Diana's advisor and legal advisor, I think, in 1995. She claimed there would be efforts to get rid of her by April 1996, and this would take place by car accident. She was a little early with April 1996, but that is interesting. Now, this, after she passed, this guy, this lawyer or legal advisor or whoever, I'm not exactly sure who he was, but he passed this note to police in 97 after this happened. And the police did not pass this to French investigators working on this case for 6 years. Why is that? I don't know.
Yeah,
weird.
That's weird. 6 years.
Mm-hmm. That's weird. I think that's strange. That's very strange too. Like you have a note like that. I mean, you have a note like that. I would think that's something that like French investigators would want, would want to know, would want right away.
Right. At least investigate it, rule it out, or.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. It is weird. It's very weird. Okay, should we pull the other one? The next one?
Yeah.
Okay,
Keep
so the next
coming.
one is when we keep them coming. Okay, this one is when she arrives at the hospital. Now, what I think is interesting is at this point, going back to the very first chart, the Sagittarius rising, right, with the Jupiter ruler, at this point, that Jupiter has moved into the 8th house. If you're following the rulers from, the first chart.
From the CCTV.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I think so I think it's interesting that sometime between when she leaves and when she arrives at the hospital, that Jupiter has slipped into the 8th.
Yeah. It's kind of it's got finality there in the death house.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So that kind of stood out to me.
It does. And then we have in this chart, the North Node in Virgo. Now we got this in the 4th house. North Node, like a karmic direction.
Yeah.
But I mean, just the North Node there in the 4th house kind of puts some finality there as well. Makes sense.
It does.
As a death chart, or I'm not death chart. I mean, this is when she goes to the hospital. I mean, is there an actual death chart? Did she die like about an hour later, or when was her death called?
I believe it was called at 4 a.m. That's when they said that she was. They did. I believe actual, like, the way that I understand it was actually like hands-on heart massage for like a couple hours or something, or an hour or some change or whatever. They did it for a while.
Yeah, this chart makes me think she's probably, I don't know if she can be technically dead, or if it's just an indication that life-saving efforts aren't going to work. Sorry to be so.
That's what it seems like too. Like that especially that slipping, that Jupiter slipping into it. It just seems like it's like maybe had they left a little earlier, maybe, or not fucked around as long I'm sorry, it seems like they fucked around driving there. Maybe if that had, I don't know, there was just something about that slipping in there that feels like at this point, if she could have been saved, they fucked with that.
Yeah.
Did we look, did we do the fixed stars for like Jupiter and Mercury?
Let's look. I'll look at Mercury.
Jupiter's kind of sandwiched between two. It's closer to this one at 1351. The Wheel of Fortune bites from venomous creatures.
Weird. There's something weird. Okay, so we got an 8-degree Virgo fixed star, 8 degrees, 56 minutes. Pretty close. Suicide among women, danger in pregnancy.
Ah, oh, Ooh, really?
Isn't,
There's some theories about that.
I thought so. I was going from memory, but isn't there a theory or a rumor, maybe we should say rumor, floating out there that she might have been pregnant?
Yes. Now, supposedly, when they did an autopsy, they did an autopsy or something. They found that she wasn't. I don't know that I buy that. Not that I don't buy that, but I mean, I don't know that I buy things that come out about, about it in general. You know what I mean? But yeah, there are rumors that she, may have been pregnant with Dodie's child, or there are also rumors that they were afraid that would happen. The royal family was afraid that would happen.
What a nightmare. I'm just kidding. I'm being
yeah, but that's interesting that comes up for that Mercury though.
It does. And then there's another fixed star at 7 degrees Virgo, so we got about a degree or so away, and it is prospectors of gold and silver, or those who are of money and burning to death in own house. I can
That's
see
interesting.
Kind of figurative, but yeah, that's a pretty intense. At least the suicide among women, danger in pregnancy fixed star on that Mercury.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
That's real. That is. Yeah, that is real interesting. Should we look at the one for when she is declared dead?
Yeah, we should.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is when she is declared dead on August 31st, 1997. Moon in the first house. That kind of stands out.
It does. That would be her co-ruler in the house of, the physical body. Saturn in the 10th. This makes me think she's been dead. This is kind of like,
formal. This is the formality of it.
Yeah, making news, maybe.
Yeah, because this hit news like quickly and I remember I was in San Antonio when this happened. We came back from like being on the Riverwalk or whatever, and it was all over the news. I vividly remember it.
So I was 18 in Oklahoma, and I want to say I was home around 10:30 or 11, and it was already news that she had died. So that would have been about 6 hours time difference. So yeah, probably about 10 o'clock local time.
Yeah.
Yeah, around this. Yeah. Yeah, this just seems like a formality. This doesn't actually look like a time when she's actually died.
No, yeah, it really doesn't. Yeah, that clearly happened before this.
Yeah, I was just gonna see if there's any fixed stars we wanted to see here. So we got 3-degree Leo. At 2 degrees Leo, there's a fixed star, suspicious, mistrustful, self-controlled, great anger when roused.
Great anger when roused.
Yep.
We haven't, we never did that Saturn. I wonder if there's, no, Saturn's really not close enough.
No,
I don't know.
On the Saturn though, because we talked about Venus and maybe what Venus is representing in some of this, and that Saturn is in a pretty good opposition to Venus. Pretty, I would say, moderate opposition.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
definitely the
especially with,
relationship stuff had something to do with this.
I think it very well could. And in this chart, that Saturn would be the ruler of the, or one of the rulers of the perpetrator.
Mm-hmm.
Not liking that shit.
Not liking that. Yeah, because Saturn is pissed off in the sign of Aries. Saturn does not like Aries. It's in a fall.
Yeah.
And Aries is a very angry sign, and very assertive sign.
Yeah, we've got, and here we've got it in the 10th house, which no offense to anybody with Saturn and Aries in the 10th house, but here it's kind of like,
hey,
kind of feels like laying down the law.
There you go, laying down the law. Now, if you're got a birth chart with Saturn and Aries in the 10th house, you're really powerful in your career. That's a whole different story.
Absolutely. There are lots of, this is more of a literal, these are more literal than
we're talking horary forensic astrology. So yeah, this is not, please don't apply this to a birth chart.
Any other thoughts about this chart here, or?
No, just, I wouldn't say it's a bogus death time. It just indicates that, they probably worked on her for a while and she was probably gone. I just doesn't seem like this is the actual time. Which is, that happens in hospitals. They work on people for a while sometimes,
This is just like more like the formality, the official.
It's official. Yeah.
Should we look at hers? I do have her. I have her chart with the transits.
Yeah.
For this particular day.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what was going on this day when this happened. I noticed that her third house has
with, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. This is birth chart with actual transits of the day around it.
Yes, of the day, yes. And it would kind of stood, and I know that, like, okay, we've got Pisces on the cusp of the third house. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that both rulers of Pisces, Jupiter and Neptune, in her chart have conjunctions. Mm-hmm. Neptune with transit Mars, which is a faster moving transit, right? And then Jupiter with transit Uranus. Now I know that transit Uranus moves slower, right? Mm-hmm. But I do think it's interesting that both of these are being hit by these particular planets. These rulers of the third house anyway.
Yeah, they're being hit by unpredictable planets.
Yes. I thought it was kind of, and that Saturn, that Saturn IC thing, it's a little wide. Like that transit Saturn is at 1939 and her IC is at 23. Mm-hmm. It does kind of make me think that if, I don't necessarily think that's a death marker, but I think had she stayed alive, there would have been some difficult stuff coming around, probably.
Oh, especially in the area of family, maybe some kind of custody thing with her kids, or who knows what that could have looked like, but definitely would have been encountering some pretty good difficulties. At least
probably. Yes. Yeah. Like maybe not this particular, but into 1998. Something. Yeah.
It's interesting. Of course, the moon is a fast transit. This happens every month, but mm-hmm. The moon just being over the 8th house that day.
Yes.
Pretty literal.
Yeah, over the 8th house. Yeah, very literal. And even, it's a little wide, mind you. This was for like at exactly midnight, I think, or something. I'm not actually sure. When you put in transits on astro.com, I don't really know how to time the exact time of the transit, but that very well could have been. I mean, I'm just being honest. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with that, but but that moon may have even been closer to Uranus, a little closer than maybe what it says here. Oh, maybe not, actually. Maybe not, because they have that at 15 there. So maybe not. Maybe it wouldn't have been.
Still, yeah, it's still pretty close. What degree? Let's see. Sun is 7 degrees Virgo. Sun right on Pluto. You know what's interesting about that? You know, when you get Sun Pluto transits in your life, you know, this is kind of like a burst of power, getting power. It's almost like in her death, she gains some sort of power. Or there's a lot of transformation, you know, because of her death. And I mean, more than just, of course, anyone dying brings transformation, but this is very, and it's over, you know, I don't know, it's right there. It's pretty close to Mars too, but it's pretty powerful.
Well, her death, people have talked, I've seen it said that like her death was like a collective mourning, you know, or like which there's power in that, right? When the collective kind of mourns somebody, there's a powerful energy with that. And I wonder if that, what you're talking about, might also speak to some of that too.
I think so. I think also another thing it could look like is it feels like the royal family loses a lot of credibility because of this, or people maybe start getting turned off of it, or just some change.
Yeah. Because no, I mean, yeah.
You know, major changes happen for people, you know, vice versa. But whenever the sun and Pluto come together, whether it's a sun transit or Pluto transit hitting someone's sun, again, going from memory, so you have to fact check, but I think like Bob Dylan went electric when the Pluto sun thing was happening for him, or, you know, but major changes. And it feels like for her, I mean, this is posthumously, of course, you know, she dies, unfortunately, but this feels like a lot of change came from this.
Yes, it definitely does. It does.
Yeah, that I want to just say this doesn't have anything to do with transits, just her natal chart. That Venus in the 5th house of children, you know, she loved being a mom and really tried to be a good mom. And that's just, you know, and Venus finds its joy in the 5th house if we're looking at Hellenistic tradition. And that's a beautiful marker in her chart.
Yeah, it is. It is really nice, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
Is Pluto on that 12th house cusp?
Okay,
It
so
looks like
Pluto, it's about to go in there. The 12th house is at 3, Sagittarius 18, and Pluto is at 2. Transit Pluto is at 255. Oh yeah, this was around the time that transit Pluto was conjunct my sun.
Yikes. Or did I say yikes? No, not always bad. Yeah. And I want to be like careful saying this because you cannot predict death with astrology. Like I study legacy, I call legacy charts, death charts compared to birth charts. It's really hard. You just cannot predict death with astrology. But looking back, this is kind of interesting. Like there are some things lining up that make sense with her death occurring. Of course, there's other people born the same day as her having these transits and they didn't die. So that's why I'm saying there's not a standard death predictor. So don't be scared if Pluto's hitting your 12th house or Saturn's over your 4th. Most people survive.
It's just, looking at it in the context of this kind of stuff, it does make sense. I mean, It does. Should I stop sharing?
Sure.
And say I will say this, like I dig the retrograde in her chart. I will say that though. I dig it.
Yeah.
She probably did. She probably thought differently and understood things differently. And I like it. I'm all over it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Mercury in Cancer, I swear these individuals have wonderful memories. Like they don't forget stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, since I think my son is about to be back home, I'll be honest, I am gonna have to.
I know. And I promised to like watch the time and I totally forgot. I got immersed in the astrology. Forgot
Yeah,
that
no, this
time exists.
Yeah, I wish time didn't exist sometimes. Well, and I guess it really doesn't, but it's like a way to structure things and whatever.
Yeah, it's a good measuring tool.
It's a good measuring tool. If anybody has anything, anybody watching this has anything that they want to add, that they notice in the charts, or any other theories, ideas that you might have, please feel free to leave them below. Love to hear them. I know Brandy would too.
I would love it. And these are charts like you can keep squeezing stuff out. Like, we're just kind of hitting the main stuff, but they're interesting charts on this one.
Yeah, they really are. And yeah. So feel free to share anything. And where can people find you?
BrandyBurrowAstrology.com and Brandy Burrow Astrology on YouTube and Instagram. And Ellie, I'm going to be borrowing this from you a few weeks down the road, posting it on my channel. Tell us where we can find you.
You can find me at Let's F with Astrology on YouTube, SaturnSeason.com, and Saturn Season Astrology on Instagram. Okay, well, thank you so much for wanting to do this, for wanting to help tackle this with me.
Thank you for another very interesting and fascinating episode of Forensic Astrology. Always excited to work with you.
Same here. It truly is a pleasure. It really is. And to everyone else, I will see y'all later.